I almost did not even go to my 10-year high school reunion. Honestly, who wants to pay $50 to stand around and make awkward small talk with people who used to ignore you in the hallway? But my best friend from high school, Mark, he kept pushing me. He said it would be fun. He said we would laugh about the old days. And part of me, the part I did not want to admit, was curious. I wanted to see if she would be there. Her name was Sarah, and Sarah was my high school crush. Not just a little crush either. This was the kind of crush that made your stomach do backflips every time she walked into the room. The kind that made you practice what you were going to say to her in the mirror, only to completely forget your own name when she actually stood in front of you. I was a complete, hopeless, lovesick mess. We had one class together, English literature, and I spent that entire semester pretending to read Shakespeare while actually just stealing glances at her from across the room. She had this way of tucking her hair behind her ear when she was thinking. She laughed at the teacher's terrible jokes, not because they were funny, but because she was nice. She was the kind of person who made everyone around her feel seen. And me, I was just the shy guy in the back row who could barely string two words together around her. But here is the thing about high school. It is a pressure cooker. Everyone is trying to figure out who they are, and most of us are terrified of being rejected. So we hide, we pretend we do not care. We watch the people we like from a distance and convince ourselves that we will make a move tomorrow. And then tomorrow turns into next week, and next week turns into graduation. And before you know it, 10 years have passed and you are standing at a reunion, still wondering what could have been. So there I was, scanning the room like an idiot. And then I saw her. She was standing near the dessert table, laughing at something her friend was saying. She looked exactly the same. Actually, no, she looked better. More confident, more comfortable in her own skin. And my stomach did that. Exact same backflip it used to do back in 2016. I almost walked the other way. I am not kidding. My feet were already turning toward the bathroom. But then she looked up, and our eyes met, and she smiled. Not a polite, oh, great, another classmate smile. A real one, the kind that reached her eyes. And then she started walking toward me. My brain went completely blank. All those years, all that time I spent imagining what I would say to her if I ever got the chance. And I had nothing. Absolutely nothing. She stopped right in front of me and said, "Hey," just hey, and I said hey back, like a complete idiot. But then she tilted her head and gave me this curious look and asked the question that I still think about to this day. "Did you ever get my letter?" I froze. Letter? What letter? I had no idea what she was talking about. I told her I did not get any letter. And the look on her face, that is the part that still gets me. Her whole face changed. She went from happy and excited to confused and almost sad. And then she said something that I will never forget. She said she wrote me a letter right after graduation. A long one. She left it in my yearbook and gave it to me on the last day of school. She said she had been waiting to hear from me for 10 years. My heart literally dropped into my stomach. I stood there in that loud, crowded room, and all I could hear was the sound of my own heartbeat. I started thinking back. The last day of school. I remembered it pretty clearly. Everyone was exchanging yearbooks, writing messages, taking pictures. I had given mine to a few friends, and I remembered getting it back at the end of the day. I flipped through it, saw a few notes, but I never found any letter. Did I just miss it? Did she hide it somewhere I did not check? Did someone else take it out? The mystery was eating me alive. And that is the thing about missed connections. They haunt you. They are not just about romance either. It could be a job opportunity you passed on, a friendship you let fade, a word you never said to someone before they left your life. The what-ifs are the worst, because they are not real. They are just ghosts, but they feel so heavy. We spent the rest of that reunion talking. She told me she had moved to a different city for work. She was doing well. She had traveled to a bunch of countries. She was happy, and I was happy for her. But there was this weird elephant in the room, this unwritten chapter that we both knew existed but could not do anything about now. The moment was gone. We were different people. We had built separate lives, and no amount of rehashing the past could change that. But we did laugh a lot. We talked about our English teacher, about the time I accidentally set off the fire alarm in the chemistry lab, about the stupid things we used to worry about back then. It was actually nice. For the first time in 10 years, I felt like I could be myself around her. No nerves, no fear, just two adults catching up. And that is something, right? Sometimes closure does not look like what you expect. Sometimes it is not a grand gesture or a dramatic confession. Sometimes it is just a normal conversation that helps you finally let go. Before she left that night, she hugged me. Not a quick side hug either, a real one. And she whispered, "It is okay." We were kids, and that was it. She walked away and I stood there watching her go. And I felt something I had not felt in a long time, peace. But here is the part of the story that still keeps me up sometimes. The day after the reunion, I went to my parents' attic. I had not been up there in years. It is full of old boxes and dust and all the stuff my mom refuses to throw away. I went looking for my high school yearbook. It took me almost an hour to find it. It was buried under a pile of old textbooks, and when I finally pulled it out and flipped to the back page, I almost dropped it. There it was, a plain white envelope, yellowed and dusty, still sealed, with my name written on it in her handwriting. I sat there on the floor of that attic for what felt like forever, staring at it. I had the answer right in my hands. The letter she wrote me 10 years ago. The letter that would have changed everything. The letter that I never knew existed. And I did not open it. I know that might sound crazy. After all that, after all the wondering and the heartache and the what-ifs, you probably think I ripped it open right there. But I did not. Because the truth is, I do not need to read it anymore. I know what she said in that letter. She was brave enough to tell me back then. And she was brave enough to ask me about it at the reunion. That is all I needed to know. She cared. And that has been enough. Sometimes life gives you answers. But sometimes the answer is just knowing that the question existed at all. Not every story needs a neat little ending. Not every mystery needs to be solved. And not every letter needs to be read. The fact that she wrote it. The fact that she wanted me to know. That is what matters. That is the part that stays with me. So what about you? Have you ever had a moment like that? Something that you missed out on because of timing or fear or just plain bad luck? Something that you still wonder about? I want to hear about it, seriously. Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you are sitting there right now, thinking about someone you never told how you felt, stop overthinking it. Send the message. Make the call. Write the letter. Do not wait 10 years to find out what could have happened. Because you never know. They might be waiting to hear from you too. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this one. If you like stories about real life, real emotions, and real moments that make you think, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I post new videos every week and I promise you, they are all just as honest as this one. Now go take a chance on something today, even if it is small, even if it scares you. You will be glad you did.